Welcome back to the Great White North, everyone. I'm still not quite over my cold. And I'm just trying to do some digging. Because I'm hoping to gather up enough that I can finally afford a dozer. So I also wonder if by the time I can afford a dozer, I'm gonna have most of this cleared out anyways. But hopefully I can get to the good minerals quickly enough. Yeah, this is all dirt. Last week, we built this semi-finished factory. Just a basic setup to be able to process all these ores and things, which should give us a good start on being able to get some good money in, and then be able to maybe there we go. This terrain is bumpy. Really need to flatten it out, which is why I'm trying to get as quickly as I can to the, I think it's like 350,000 that I need. I think it's 300. Oh, I dribbled. That's just a little bit. 345,000 that we need for a dozer. Because what the dozer's gonna give us the ability to do is to clear out the surface and start getting at the ores instead of having to struggle with the top layers to get right down into the good stuff. And it should make it a little bit easier to maintain semi-flat surfaces to be able to get into the deeper areas. We're gonna need a roller as well at some point. I think it's actually cheaper than the dozer. Actually, let's check that. Not graders. Paving? Yeah. So, we only need... Oh, I can afford that right now. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna need this eventually anyways. So, because that's gonna help us smooth things out. In fact, what I might do is actually get that going today. Right now. That's some impressive flying there. Alright. Because what this lets me do is flatten out stuff. So instead of all these bumpy edges and stuff, I can get some flat edges and be able to drive on flat surfaces as opposed to bumps and divots and all that sorts of stuff. Just didn't realize it was going to be this slow. And this, in combination with the dozer, should let me be able to make things a lot easier to get into the deeper spots. Because the loader is great for digging, but as for like having flat surfaces or anything like that, not really great. I mean, at least with my skill level, at least. Maybe there's somebody out there that can actually do what the dozer does with a loader, but not me. So I do what I can. Now another thing that I want to do with this series is a lot of times I skip over a lot of machines and like do stuff by hand. So I'd like to get more proficient at a lot of the other machines and try to use the machines instead of doing it by hand, because like you can flatten stuff like this with the shovel, and in some cases it's actually faster, but I want to try and use the machines to do this stuff, not the hand tools. Alright, let's get this out of the way. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just get it stuck somewhere. Good enough. Alright. Oh. One other thing I'm gonna need to worry about at some point in time is fuel. Fuel. Where is that again? Buildings. Fuel. There we go. Well, it's not that expensive. Okay. fuel is going to be the expensive part. Let's put it here. Then every time that I'm dumping stuff off, I have the option to refuel. But I'm good for now. So I'm gonna go and use the new flat surfaces to get in a little bit deeper here. Ooh. Almost too smooth. I mean, you can't really tell with this texture, but it is a lot smoother. Well, not there. I mean, whoops, not lined up. Let's take a sip. There we go. All topped up. I don't know how much that cost me, but I don't think this loader is all that expensive for fuel. I know the bigger guys are like go through fuel like crazy, but by the time you can afford that, it really doesn't limit it, because you're with one scoop you can earn so much that it's like 10 tankfuls with just one scoop. So whoop, that bounce. With this distance, I probably need to think about maybe getting a truck to ferry the ore back and forth. Alright, where we at? Careful. Careful. There we go. Okay. Okay. Now, what do we got now? So there's 3 different outputs that this can have. This is apparently just giving me dirt, which is fine because dirt's still worth something. It's just dirt. 4,500 apparently. I mean, it takes a lot, but I mean, that's still like a couple of conveyors, so I mean, it's not that bad. There's nothing on the high temp stuff, but I think that was mostly iron. Yeah, see, look at that. And what's that get us? 100,000. That's nice. So, like, 2 more loads of that, and we should have the dozer. I didn't count how many scoops it was, though. I don't think it was very many. And all that, considering the scoops on these lower end dozers or loaders are not very much. Am I reaching? I don't know. I think this is all iron. I think the edge might be lithium or something. But we really need to get the dozer to clear things away so we can start getting at that as well. Make sure we're lined up so that we're not dumping it all over the ground. So let's take a count. That's one. At 3 scoops, I'm gonna... 3 scoops of iron. Don't think it's the kind of iron that you want in your cereal, but... I'll take 3 scoops, see how much iron that gives me, and then kind of estimate how many that I need to finish getting the dozer, and then just take the rest of it. Except that I'd actually have to have the attention span to be able to count this. Was that 1 or 2? I don't remember. I think that was just 1. So, this is 2, I think? Maybe? Whoop. Maybe none, because if I flip it over, I'm gonna dump it all over the ground. Alright. That's 2. Hopefully. 2-ish. Or 2. I don't know. So this one should be 3. Oh, a good scoop on that one. And once I scoop this and let it process a bit, pop out, take a look at what we got. Not very much dirt, which is good, because that means that it's 100% ore, or close to it. Didn't process any of that, which means it should all be iron. And this is still processing a little bit, I think. Maybe? Still? No, I don't see anything coming through here. So it must be done by now. And our sorting did not work. Because the aluminum is coming this way. Why is the aluminum coming this way? I'm gonna have to look at that again. At any rate, so we got some aluminum ore. We got some lithium ore that got processed properly. And we got 2,400 iron out of it. So that's nice. That was 3 scoops. Or hopefully 3 scoops if I counted correctly. Okay, now that's bugging me. So this is the metal ore sorter, right? Metal ore sorter. Oh, yeah, that's absolutely correct. Except that the smelter does not process aluminum. So this is the wrong order. It has to process this first. That means that iron will always go into the high temp one, which is unfortunate, but I could probably make it more complicated later, but well, that's not that important, so can I put this in manually? No. Can't put it in manual. Okay, well, for now, I guess I'm just gonna put the aluminum back into here, process it later, and sell this lithium and iron, and I only need like 50,000, just shy of 50,000 left. So if I do 2 more scoops, theoretically, that should get me the dozer. It should be enough at least, I think. Then once we get the dozer, then that should give us a lot more possibilities. The one thing about none of these surfaces being completely level and flat is I have no idea whether I'm actually tipping over on this thing or whether it's just the angle. The grade angle. Suppose I could do GPS to figure it out, but that's one. And this would be two if I don't get stuck or flip over. Ah, well, now what? Digging a bigger hole. I'm gonna have to recovery this. Because that's just digging itself further in. I could probably do that if I wanted to. Is there a recovery item or something? Equipment. Hand tools. Tree vehicle. Okay. Let's try this. Oh, cool. Alright. Yeah, that never really gets old. Okay. Let's try this again without the slipping over on my side. I'm trying to take a nap. Careful, careful. There we go. Alright. And that's scoop 2. Wait for it to process. More dirt. That's still processing. Wait until this no longer has this color stuff. Be cool if it changed color if like different materials were going through, but alright. 1620. $39 from the dirt. And 73,000. Alright. There we go. Dozer, here we come. So, vehicles, dozers. It'd be nice if I could afford a bigger one, but for right now, we just need to get enough that it's just gonna make life a little bit easier. Now, I am not amazing with the dozer, and there's still a few quirks with the dozer, but honestly, when you're trying to create pathways to where you need to go, the dozer is very good. And especially if you're trying to scrape stuff off, like topsoil off, to be able to get at this other stuff. It's so much nicer to work with than trying to scoop stuff up with the loader. Like I said, I am not great with it. I am passable at it. I am not great with it. It also doesn't help that the hitbox on this is really weird as far as where the actual blade does its work. It's not always easy to see what's going on. Mind you, I don't use any heavy vehicles in real life, or have ever touched one to drive it, so it's not like I actually know what the real dozer is like to work with, so maybe the hitbox is consistent with the way that dozers really work. I don't know. So one problem with video games is you never really know whether it's true to life or a close approximation or not even close. I mean, I think there's a lot of heavy vehicle operators that like playing this game, so they'd be able to weigh in whether it is or not, but not me. That cut is a little too deep. Wait a second. I think that might be coal. So I wonder if this whole valley is full of materials that I can use. Yeah, this looks like coal. There's an analyzer or something, right? Oh, I just, well, maybe. Bring that thing over there. It's agonizingly slow to run, but... Oop, there we go. Let's get that up out of the way. I still would like a better solution for this, because stuff with tracks go really slow, which is great if you're like running around a job site, but moving it from one job site to the next, there needs to be a better way to work with it. And I mean, you can make it more detached from real life by putting like a super high speed gear in or something, but it would be nice to have something that was more realistic, like a trailer that you have to load this on. Sorry. And then you'll move the trailer with another truck or something. Okay, what are we at? It still says dirt. And dirt. Cool. Alright. How far down? Like, all the way down? Yeah, that's all the way down. Cool. Alright. Well, I found coal. So, that's really great. I was wanting to find coal at some point anyways. But that adds another complication to it, in that I want to dig it up, not make a road over top of it. Well, I guess I'll kind of go around it. Maybe go from this direction. I did see a patch note, or at least a dev update, that they were planning on improving the way the tracks work, the tracked vehicles work. But it's mostly the movement. Oh, maybe it's already updated. I don't know. But it's when the tracked vehicles, you're going forward and you turn left or right, it went really slow. Almost like it was stopping the vehicle in order to turn. Instead of just turning as it was moving. So apparently the new update will end up having, which I don't know if that's already included in this. Or not, but I don't really notice much of a difference. But yeah, they're trying to improve the tracked vehicles, the way that they move and stuff, so it should be a little bit easier to work with them. But I think the one thing that I'd like to be able to see is what I said, is a way to move tracked vehicles between job sites quickly without having to like recall it and then drop it from your inventory again. I mean, it works, I suppose, but especially with multiplayer and multiplayer expansion, I mean, it's not going to help me, but you can have like crane operators and drivers, and the person driving the tracked vehicle, and all just like, so you drive a tracked vehicle onto a trailer and another player can drive away with the transport truck that's carrying pulling the trailer, and the tracked vehicle at the same time. And then the player gets to the job site, unloads lifts up the ramps, and then, wow, that was a terrible cut. See, I did say I was not great at this, but I'm trying to get better at it. So, bear with me for a little bit. Well, I don't know if I improved things or made it worse. But with that in mind, I think I'm gonna call it for today. I don't know if I did a lot. At least got the dozer, and we were able to get enough for the paver here, which is nice. Means we can flatten out stuff. So on that note, I will say goodbye for today. Have a great one, and see you next time.